Today is National Donut Day. Yummy donuts, or as Homer Simpson likes to say, donuts. Actually, that wasn't even close to sounding like Homer Simpson, but come on, this is a pretty cool National Day for a change. Sometimes, what did we have? We had National Deviled Egg Day last week, so I don't know if everybody can get behind deviled eggs, but I am pretty sure that everybody can kind of get behind National Donut Day. Then again, I might be wrong. But there's something that I know I'm right about, and that is the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 everybody. I am Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. Welcome aboard. It is Monday, November 5th. This is episode 191 of The Daily Dope. So, kick on back. Today I am going to be unboxing and taking a first look at Block by Block, the second edition from Out of Order Games. I have, I didn't review it per se, but I did a really in-depth preview of the game before the second edition Kickstarter started. I have actually played both the first edition and the second edition, but this is the retail edition of the second edition, or retail copy, I guess I'll say. So we're going to take a look to see exactly what's in the box, what you'll be getting if you pick up Block by Block from your friendly local gaming store or online retailer, or from Out of Order Games itself. So, I had a lot of fun. Saturday we did our Extra Life charity stream. It was pretty crazy early on, I'll tell you that, and I will get into a little bit of detail about that right after the news. But I had a blast. I had a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Although there were some challenging moments, I'll say that for certain. All right, so before I jump into the news, just want to point out this is a live stream, so if you happen to be watching live, feel free to chime in if you'd like to say hello, or if you have a question, or maybe there's something about Block by Block you'd like to get a closer look at, or maybe, ask a question about as well. Chat is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I sort of prevent some of the stranger commenters out there from getting all wacky. But I do keep an eye on the chat, so if you do chime in, I will respond. Do also want to point out, if you're not a subscriber yet to the Gaming Gang channel, by all means, become a subscriber. And if you like any of our videos, just give it a quick thumbs up. So, gonna jump into the news. I like to start off my news segment by saying, if you don't want to watch the gaming news for today, check the show notes. You will see there's a timestamp. It will tell you when the news is over, when you can jump in, because some people get upset that I include gaming news. Don't know why, have no idea, but just pointing that out. All right, speaking of the gaming news, let's get on into it, because Red Raven Games is a new two-player game, which really struck me as interesting. So I've got the dope on Haven. Yes, Haven. The mystical forest has been home in Haven to beasts, spirits, and forgotten gods for thousands of years. While the Haven Guardian slumbers, a nearby human village has grown into a city, hungry to control the powers of the forest. Can the forest creatures discover enough potent lore to defend their ancient home from the oppressive city, or will the city use this lore to power their machines and turn the forest against itself? The battle for Haven begins. In Haven, you and your opponent battle for control of a mystical forest. The Haven Guardian, spirit of the forest, sleeps deeply and can no longer protect its kingdom. One of you controls the city in an effort to master the vulnerable forest using stone lore and machines. The other plays as the forest and its creatures who defend their home with the aid of leaf lore and forest spirits. To obtain the power needed to oppose your enemy, you must send seekers to compete for the lore controlled by elementals. ancient beings who bestow the lore on those who seek it. Seekers also engage in combat for control of shrines on the board, scoring you bonus points if you occupy a majority of shrines surrounding forest havens. When one type of lore is depleted or one elemental has left the board, the Haven Guardian awakens, and the player with the higher score masters the forest, or defends it from harm, and wins the game. Haven is for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, plays in around 30 to 45 minutes. It is now available, and it does carry an MSRP of $24.95. Gotta say, this looks pretty interesting. Though I have to admit, if you're, leading the city, that sort of makes you the bad guys. So it's sort of one player, it seems like, will have to be kind of the bad guys in this game. But yeah, that's not unusual. I was just a little surprised. I would have thought maybe the game would have pitted a couple of opposing, not guardians, because the guardian's like the big creature, but opposing factions of the forest maybe to defend it, or to be the greatest defender. Anyway, this does seem really, really interesting. And I gotta say, from what I've seen as far as the artwork and what comes in the game, the MSRP of $24.95 is mighty fair. All right, so moving right along, Pandasaurus Games is going to be bringing fans a 5th edition, a 5th anniversary edition, I should say, of Machikoro.
Once you fought for glory.
Oh, I've got the news in the wrong order. Hang on. Let's jump on down. It's only one image, so unfortunately, I can only find the one image from Pandasaurus Games. Anyway, I've got the dope on the 5th anniversary edition of Machikoro. Welcome to the city of Machikoro. You've been elected mayor. Congrats. Unfortunately, the citizens have some pretty big demands. Jobs, a theme park, a couple of cheese factories, maybe even a radio tower. A tough proposition since the city currently consists of a wheat field, a bakery, and a single die. Yes, you heard me right, a single die, as in dice. Armed only with your trusty die and a dream, you must grow Machikoro into the largest city in the region. You will need to collect income from developments, build public works, and steal from your neighbors' coffers. Just make sure they aren't doing the same to you. Machikoro is a fast-paced game for 2 to 4 players. Each player wants to develop the city on their own terms in order to complete all of the landmarks under construction faster than their rivals. On their turn, each player rolls 1 or 2 dice. If the sum of the dice rolled matches the number of a building that a player owns, they get the effect of that building. In some cases, opponents will also benefit from your die, just as you can benefit from theirs. Then, with money in hand, a player can build a landmark or a new building, ideally adding to the wealth of their city on future turns. The first player to construct all of their landmarks wins. Celebrate the 5th, I almost said 25th. Celebrate the 5th anniversary of the classic city building game with this new edition featuring fancy plastic coins, jumbo dice, and large cards. As a mayor, it's your job to take a field and grow it into a metropolis. Roll the dice, make some money, and build the biggest city to win. See why this game has sold over 300,000 copies. The 5th anniversary edition, slap. Geez, Jeff, what's wrong with you today? It's Monday. Never fails. Mondays, I'm always a little out of it for some strange reason right off the bat. Anyway, the 5th anniversary edition of Machikoro is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 30 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $29.99 when it arrives in December. Strangely enough, I recall Machikoro when it came out from IDW Games. And now it is through Pandasaurus Games. So, and it's been with Pandasaurus for a bit. So I'm kind of wondering what might be going on with IDW Games, because IDW overall has been hemorrhaging money. So I don't know if they're planning on kind of, stepping back from gaming or what, or if they just decided, well, they were going to let this license go. Machikoro is a cool game. It's a very cool game. It's language independent. You don't really, because originally it's a Japanese game, so kind of sweet, a lot of fun. And Rob Davio actually has a Legacy Machikoro coming out early next year. I think it's next spring. That's going to come out from Pandasaurus Games. So that's kind of cool too. So look forward to that. All right. Anyway, let's get back to the news piece I accidentally started jumping ahead to. And that is Gray Fox Games, because they have recently launched a Kickstarter for the sequel to Champions of Midgard. And I've got the dope on Reavers of Midgard. Reavers of Midgard is a single worker placement game with elements of set collection, dice combat, and engine building set in the Champions of Midgard universe. In Champions of Midgard, your quest was to become a Jarl. You battled back the trolls, Drugar, I think those are like evil dwarves, right? Draugr, D-R-A-U-G-R. I think they are. I think they're the evil dwarves in Norse mythology. Wow. Is English that difficult for me today? I just don't get it. Anyway, you battle back the trolls, Drower, and some of the epic monsters that once threatened the sanctity of your humble port town. Now it's time to go on the offensive. In Reavers of Midgard, you'll be looking to gain glory by raiding nearby villages for their riches, sacking well-fortified castles, and battling both man and monster on the open seas. You'll not only need to take your rowdy crew of Vikings and the food needed to keep them happy, plus some booze, I would assume, along for the ride, but you'll also have to recruit a crew of elite warriors, the Reavers. Reavers can be used in 3 different ways. They can be made your ship's leader, earning you a one-time bonus and enabling your warriors to be more versatile in combat. They can also be used to rally more warriors to your cause, filling your ship to the brim with the right fighters for the right situations. Finally, they can also be used to help your crew specialize, earning you a bonus every time your crew sails into battle. Whoever can earn the most glory after 6 rounds will be declared the winner. So, Gray Fox Games does have a Kickstarter video. It's 2 minutes long. Let's learn a bit more about Reavers of Midgard.
Once you fought for glory in your quest to lead a village. This time, a village isn't enough. This time, you want an empire. Reavers of Midgard is a single worker placement game for 2 to 4 Vikings looking to sail forth in search of combat, spoils, and glory. Take your longships out to sea and make a name for yourself as a mighty conqueror. Build a team of Reavers prepared to lend their skills in service of your grand ambitions. Use them to lead your crew into battle, rally more warriors to your cause, or specialize in raids, giving you an advantage when you send them to battle. Though Reavers give you bonuses, crew dice are the backbone of your fleet. Use them to raid, to conquer territories, or to defeat men and monsters on the open seas. Race your rivals to collect the best spoils from defeated enemies. Load your hull with the treasures and crests of the fallen houses. Collect powerful artifacts to enhance your abilities, and pillage defenses to gain bonus glory with each raid. Take a calculated, methodical approach to laying waste to anyone who would oppose you, or send your crew screaming into battle, leaving success in the hands of the gods. Bring new lands into your empire through shrewd negotiation or the force of a conqueror, and fulfill the ancient prophecies to prove your prowess. Reavers of Midgard offers many paths to pursue in search of glory, but you must gain the most to prove you have built an empire befitting the king. Pledge your support today and help us unlock exclusives, upgrades, and extras.
There you have it. The crowdfunding project for Reavers of Midgard is over 1,500% funded. Yes, you heard me correctly. 1,500%. And you can reserve a copy of the game as well as all unlocked stretch goals for a $69 pledge through November 20th. Expected delivery is June of 2019. I gotta say, I have heard really good things about Champions of Midgard. Reavers of Midgard has taken, it's been percolating for quite a bit. Because I believe I remember starting to hear little kind of whispers from Gray Fox Games about Reavers of Midgard maybe about a year and a half ago, maybe even longer than that. So it is finally out on Kickstarter. A lot of people are jumping on board. This looks really cool. Gotta say, love the artwork. Artwork is top-notch. And it's historical and kind of fantasy, so I dig that too. I always like that kind of stuff. So by all means, check out the Kickstarter before it ends on November 20th. All right, and my final news piece. Sorry I'm glancing over, not looking right in the camera here, but since I did the news out of order, I have to jump over to the little scene I've got set up. Because if you watched last week on Thursday, I reviewed the 5th edition of Vampire the Masquerade. I liked it. Thought there were a few things that I probably wouldn't run personally. And also mentioned that I think it's going to be a bit divisive. But, well, I mean, for fans of Vampire the Masquerade, not for new gamers. But I do want to point out that the first 2 source books for the 5th edition of Vampire the Masquerade are going to be available soon. I'm getting conflicting reports. I'm getting conflicting reports that you can get them now. And I have also seen some that are saying that, no, it's just pre-orders right now. But I do have the dope from both White Wolf Publishing and Modiphius Entertainment about the Anarch and Camarilla books. Vampire the Masquerade is the original and ultimate role-playing game of personal and political horror. You are a vampire struggling for survival, supremacy, and your own fading humanity, afraid of what you are capable of, and fearful of the inhuman conspiracies that surround you. As a vampire, you suffer the pangs of the hunger, the relentless and terrible thirst for human blood. If you refuse to deal with it, it will overcome your mind and drive you to terrible acts to slake it. You walk this razor's edge every night. Dark designs, bitter enemies, and strange allies await you in this world of darkness. Welcome to a blood thriller on the streets of the modern nights. For centuries, the Anarch movement enjoyed an uneasy truce. Truce? Truce! Wow, I'm tongue-tied today. Actually, it's super, super dry down here in the Duct Tape Studios as well. Anyway, for centuries, the Anarch movement enjoyed an uneasy truce with the Camarilla, but no longer. Now the Unbound refuse to bow to the sickening hypocrisy and tyranny of their former allies. Claiming the nighttime streets as their own, the Anarchs seek independence from the despotic elders by any means necessary. Only the toughest and smartest of self-made vampires will survive. This sourcebook also features all new essays on nocturnal survival and politics from Johanna Peterson. I think it's Peterson. Kind of spelled like I might pronounce it Pedersen, but I think it's probably Peterson. And then we've got the Camarilla sourcebook. The global blood opera of the Camarilla story continues. As the eldest vampires begin to vanish, the ivory tower starts to crack under the weight of its own decay. Once, it was the mightiest faction of vampires in the world, a stronghold of immortality. Now it retreats into a maze of neo-feudal conspiracies to protect itself against the deadly threat of the Second Inquisition. No one expects the Second Inquisition! Yeah, I know, old Monty Python gag. Spanish Inquisition, I know. Struggling to enforce the masquerade in the face of modern technology. Features insights and perspectives on unlife in the Camarilla from Mark Rain-Hagen and Matthew Dawkins. Both source books will carry MSRPs of $45.99 from Modiphius Entertainment, because Modiphius is actually publishing the books. They are from White Wolf Publishing, but Modiphius is in charge of the actual physical production. Anyway, the MSRPs will also include codes for the respective PDFs. Once again, These are either right on the horizon or they are now available. I took a look at the Modiphius website and it's still showing it's a pre-order. So I do believe these are pre-orders, but they will be available soon, before the end of the year. Because I know it was an expected fall release originally when I ran across this information a while back. All right, so that is it for the news today. Anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about our charity feed that we did on Saturday. Started off on a really bad foot because I actually had to tear down a bunch of the stuff here in the Duct Tape Studios to bring with me. Originally, we were going to do the stream from Elliot's house, and which was going to be perfect because we had, you know, he's got his lighting, everything set up for the videos that he shoots. Well, he hasn't shot any in quite some time, but he hadn't broken anything down, so we still had all the lighting. We had a nice big table we were going to play at. Then it turned out we had to do it at my brother's house, which was okay, which was fine. And we assumed that there was going to be plenty of good lighting. Well, the lighting was all right. In fact, I thought we were going to have better lighting when the sun went down, but we didn't. We had a lot of very shadowy with the camera that we had shooting us, right? So we had two cameras, kind of like the way I set this up when I'm doing unboxings and reviews. So that was later on. That was something that was kind of like, wow, you know, this stream could look better. But Elliot had to bring a monitor for me because I actually use a big flat screen TV for my computer here in the Duct Tape Studios, right? It's a desktop computer. Needs some, you know, needs a little bit of hardware and a little oomph, you know, a little horsepower there to be able to stream. So nobody else had a computer that would be able to stream. So I was like, okay, so I brought it with, but I wasn't going to bring a flat screen television with me. So I asked Elliot to bring a monitor because he had some spare monitors. So I brought it and we set it up. Everything's all hooked up. We're all good to go. It's coming up on about 7:45 because we were going to start at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. And for some reason, we're getting this loop back in the audio. So it'd be like, I'd say something, then you hear like, I'd say something. What? Huh? Blah, blah. It was like, what in the world's going on here? Why are we getting this? I only have one microphone set up. Turned out after, I don't know, almost an hour of messing around with it, that somehow there was a microphone in the monitor that Elliot had brought, and we had no clue. So it was picking up our mic, my main mic, as well as the mic. I was like, oh my gosh. So finally we were able to fix that, but we got started an hour late. So we didn't get started till 9 o'clock. Had a lot of fun. We played the Lost Expedition from Osprey Games. That was a blast. We lost. We didn't make it. We got a little more than halfway to the Lost City of Z before we expired. We played Everdell from Starling Games. We played War Chest from AEG. We played some Tiny Epic Galaxies from Gameland Games. We wrapped up with a game of, 1960, The Making of the President from GMT Games. Had a lot of fun. We had some giveaways, so that was cool. We got to give some stuff out. And, granted, we didn't pull in a bunch of money, but we did have like 83 people watch throughout the stream, so I was very surprised by that. I didn't think we had that many people popping in, but I thought, hey, that was kind of cool. But the entire stream is up on the Gaming Gang channel here on YouTube. If you want to check it out. Of course, Extra Life is always going on. It's not just one day of the year. So there is a link. If you'd like to donate, that's cool. I'm all for that. Ellie and I were actually talking about we might get together and game at his house, every couple of months, and maybe we'll actually do a stream for Extra Life when we do it. Like 4 hours, something around there. And one of the things that I noticed on Saturday was we were competing with a lot of people streaming, and we're talking big name. I mean, so, role players were all probably watching the big Dungeons and Dragons stream. I mean, there was just tons and tons of stuff. So I don't feel, I'm kind of like, okay, well, we weren't really expecting like thousands of people. I was pleasantly surprised we had as many people watching as we did. So, but most importantly, had a blast, raised a little bit of money, and Elliot and I will be doing it again. So, pretty cool. So anyway, moving right along. For the rest of this week and into next, let's talk about what's on the Daily Dope. So tomorrow I'm going to be reviewing The Captain is Dead Lockdown from AEG. It's the second game in the Captain is Dead series of games. So that's on tomorrow's show. Wednesday's show, I am actually, and I don't know why this is upside down in the bag, but because I have not taken it out. On Wednesday's show, I am going to be taking a look at the upgrade package for Fire in the Lake. It is for people who already have the first edition of Fire in the Lake, so you do not have to purchase an entire brand new game, which I will be sharing an unboxing of Fire in the Lake, the new edition, in the near future. Because even though I've reviewed it, and I've reviewed, I want to say all of the coin games. Pretty sure I've reviewed all of them. Not all of them were video reviews. Many of them were written reviews, and I didn't actually shoot unboxing. So that's going to be coming up. On Thursday, it's RPGs. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I am not positive. I've got some PDFs that I've been reading through that I might do reviews on those. I don't know, but we'll have some RPG fun on Friday, or on Thursday's show, I should say. On Friday, we're going to take a look to see what is in the newest release for the Ascension card game. This is Delirium. Ooh. So that's on Friday's show, and then, let me get this stuff out of my lap. On Monday's show, I am going to review Betrayal Legacy from Avalon Hill. Oh, speaking of Avalon Hill, we played Axis and Allies and Zombies during the stream. I'm sure we did not play it correctly because none of us had actually played it. And I didn't have a ton of time to read through the rules on Friday night. So we kind of winged it a little bit. So, yeah, I'm sure it was close. It was close enough. But yes, it was pretty funny during the stream. Elliot was in rare form. He was smoking everybody practically in the games. Elliot won. Everdell, well, we all lost the Lost Expedition. Elliot won Everdell. We played a couple of games of War Chest. So we played Cameron once, and he won, and then I beat him. He won Tiny Epic Galaxies. He won 1960. The Making of the President. I won the Axis and Allies and Zombies game. So, but yeah, we had a blast. We had a really good time. Really, really good time. Because, for one, we never get to spend that much time gaming in a day. Elliot usually, Elliot can't hang out that long. So usually it's about, 3-4 hours of gaming as opposed to almost 12 hours of gaming. So yeah, we had a blast. And I was very surprised. I was not running out of steam. When we wrapped up the stream, I was kind of like, yeah, all right. I still got some energy. I felt like playing another game. I know, crazy, right? Okay, so you might be tuning in because you want to take a peek at the second edition of Block by Block from Out of Order Games. It's designed by T.L. Simons. The game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up. Plays in about 2 hours, and it will carry an MSRP of $60, I do believe, when it arrives November 13th. I am not positive who might be ending up carrying this. Let's move on over to the other camera here. Because I know the pre-orders are closed at the Out of Order Games website. So you can't pre-order it anymore. But I do believe that it will be available from some retailers or some online retailers. So this is Block by Block, second edition. This is the Insurrection game. So let's flip. Well, you know what? Let's take the shrink off here. Let's get the shrink off. Get rid of some of that, a little bit of the glare that's popping up. I'm gonna pop on the old reading glasses because I'm actually kind of far off from this box. I set everything back up in the Duct Tape Studios here, but I still have to tweak some stuff. Although I gotta admit, looks like the video is actually a little clearer. I don't know why. I have no idea. All right, so light the fires of resistance in this groundbreaking semi-cooperative game inspired by 21st century protest movements, riots, and popular uprisings. In Block by Block, each player controls a faction of revolutionaries, workers, students, neighbors, or prisoners, fighting against the state in the streets of a city that will change with each game. Build barricades, clash with riot cops, occupy districts, loot shopping centers, and liberate the city before time runs out and the military arrives. Block by Block features hidden agendas, deep strategy, area control, asymmetrical player abilities, and a special method for randomly generating billions of unique city layouts. Block by Block can also be played in fully cooperative mode. All right, let's get this open. I dig this game. I think this is actually a very cool game. You know, looking at the art style, right? So you've got these like little block people and stuff. Don't let that fool you. Okay, don't let that fool you, making you think, oh well, yeah, this is just a little lighthearted game. No, in my opinion, they went with this kind of art style simply to not make it so heavy, I guess. Because if you think about the actual subject matter, the subject matter is pretty serious, and this game has actually been, I guess I'll say inspired from like a variety of different events, including Ferguson. So we've got greetings, comrades. 4-player setup, talking about 3 players or 2 players. This is the city. So you've got these city tiles, and of course the city tiles are going to randomly place those. That's how you get all these just tons and tons of various city setups. So it's talking about creating the city. It's talking about the different cards of decks. It's talking about the gameplay overview. This is not a difficult game to wrap your head around. It's pretty easy to get into this game. We've got a district guide talking about streets, highways, and the metro. We've got different times of day. So we've got the nighttime, which is where most of the players' actions are taking place. So we've got the nighttime, talking about movement, barricades, what's a reaction roll, looting, exchanging loot, occupying districts, types of occupations, different special abilities. Each of the factions has a special ability. Got attack actions. So you're fighting the police, but you're never going to like completely eliminate the police. Then we've got the police operations, cracking some heads, police morale, barricades, maneuver cards, type of police op cards. Then we've got the sunrise. When the sun comes up, the police pretty much start moving back in again. So the daytime kind of favors the police, where at nighttime it favors the various different factions. So we've got district liberation, advancing the countdown, and checking the end game conditions. Got a component list. Got a bit of a player aid on the back here. So we've got a bunch of baggies. We've got loads and loads of baggies here. We've got some of the decks of cards. I'll take those out. Look at those in just a moment. So we've got the different wooden pieces here. So we've got police. We've got I want to say these are like police vans, if I remember correctly, or like SWAT. No, they're not SWAT vans. They're like riot police vans. Then we see like the white The white represents the police. Each of the factions have different colors, so you can see we got yellow, we've got purple, we've got green, and we've got orange. So we've got that. We've got barricades. So a bunch of wooden pieces here. So we've got those. Got a bunch of dice. If I remember correctly, the police use the white die. Look at that. It's like a much bigger die than the little black ones. So this is what I thought was pretty cool. I thought this was nice. I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. We've got this little, like, fabric mat that you're going to lay out. And up here is the countdown. So, as you're basically rebelling, you're out in the streets and that, you're going to actually count down. And if you don't win before you hit the game over, that means the military has come in to take over, and you lose. So what you'll do is the different tiles, you're going to actually place the tiles on each of these squares. So I like how this mat was in this fabric mat was included, as opposed to just, oh well, lay this stuff out on the table. And we'll see, we've got some other stuff here. We've got staging area, then we've got the police morale over here along the side here, and you'll actually take one of the white almost like bars, and you'll mark this as you, I think it was white. It's been a while since I played block by block, but anyway, you'll actually mark the morale of the police. So, yeah, they get to the point where they can be pretty brutal, or, you know, if you keep knocking their morale down, they can become timid. So, I like this. I thought that was pretty cool how this was included in the mix. So, we'll put that off to the side. Then, we've got all the different tiles. We've got a player board for each of the factions as well. Let's pop this on open. All right, there we go. And then, of course, we've got some counters, too. I got a kick out of these counters because there's all different, like, graffiti on them. I thought that was pretty cool. Then you could have like the supermarkets, the stores, and that when you're looting, they could be on fire and that. But so we've got the orange, we've got the yellow, we've got the green, and we've got the purple. And then these tiles here, these are the ones that you actually will lay down on that mat. So we start off like this, and of course it could be like that, it could be like that, and this is what this looks like. You know, for most of the time during the game, and it shows that, oh look, there's a store that could be looted, or a district that could be looted. But then when you liberate it, you're going to flip it over like so, and it's going to show that, hey, this has been liberated. This circle here is just indicating what faction. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. I think what faction gets the bonuses if they control it, if they control the district. I'm trying to remember. Like I said, it's been a while since I played, so that's kind of an idea. That's what these various different tiles that make up the city look like, and there's a bunch of them. See, so we got like a smartphone factory, Supermax prison. So purple is students, orange are the prisoners. I think green is the neighbors, and then the yellow, it's right here. Duh. Yellow is the workers. So and it's kind of cool because these player aids are going to tell you, okay, flip it on over. It tells you exactly everything that's going on in the game itself. It's a really nice, handy-dandy play aid. And gives you your information about, okay, faction start, assembly hall, social center. Tells you right there what's your special ability So you've got those for all 4 of the factions. Anyway, once again, give you kind of an idea here. So this tile here, I remember this tile here is the there's a highway. So it's basically you don't really enter this tile, you travel along this road. But one of the interesting things too is that when you're moving, you're not moving when you're moving your factions and stuff, you're not like, oh, okay, well, you know, counting spaces like, oh, I got a movement of 3, 1, 2, 3. You can actually move however these are connected. So if you could conceivably go like all the way across the city in one of your turns with some of your protesters in that. So we've got these. So we've got the garment sweatshop, overcrowded jail, polluted slum, underfunded high school, abandoned zone, the park, the financial district, telecom network hub, international airport. These are also areas that that you want to try to take over because they're like governmental kind of locations. So you got those. We got the Minister of Interior Ministry, the projects, bankrupt junior college, immigrant detention center. So we've got the different tiles and the counters and tokens, I guess we'll say. So we got all of that. We have the player aids. We've got all the various different pieces. We've got the cool fabric mat that I really like. Now let's take a look at some of these cards. It's pretty... yeah, there's no strip to pull, so let's get this open up here. Alright, so we've got that. Then this one, if I remember correctly, this has a few different decks. So we got like a loot deck. I think we've got like a police operations deck. Let's take a look here. We also, we should have the hidden agenda deck as well. Okay, so we got loot. Here's the loot. There we go. There's the police ops that I was just talking about. Yeah, and there we got the hidden agenda cards. All right, and then we've got the manifestation cards. And what you'll do with these is you'll actually place these underneath the tile, and it's you'll do it randomly. You'll place these underneath each of the tiles, because once you start kind of like trying to liberate those districts or occupy those districts, if you liberate that tile, something special is going to happen, and that's what these cards do. So these manifestation. So once you get the ball rolling, once you start taking over these various different districts, liberating these districts, I should say, a lot of cool stuff starts happening that's good for you guys, good for the protesters. Because if you don't start liberating these different areas, the police are pretty tough in this game. So if you don't start liberating districts, you're going to be in trouble, because these police operations can get pretty nasty. So shows you how the riot cops will move, the different areas that they'll go into. You don't want your little cubes, your little protester cubes, to have to deal with the police. But you're doing a lot of different things, like you're building barricades to, you know, try to cut the police off, or try to force the police to go in different directions, stuff like that. Pretty cool AI that works with the riot police in the game. SWAT raid. Got reinforcements. So we got heavy reinforcements, light reinforcements, tactical retreat, all different stuff, maneuvers. So you're gonna actually be drawing these cards to see what are the riot police doing. But there's also built-in rules of how the police are going to move as well. So we've got that. Then we got different loot cards. So you can loot in districts that show that little shopping cart. Different stuff. You got Molotov cocktails, a lot of those. Wow, tons of those. Tools, groceries, furniture. So not that like you're relaxing out there, you use the furniture to build the barricades. Old tires, charter bus, fancy clothes, paint, medikit. So as you can tell, like some of the really valuable stuff, you know, Molotovs are pretty easy to come across. Gas mask, not so much. There's only a couple of those. You got fireworks, fire extinguisher, helmets, sound system, medicine, phones, board game. It's kind of funny. Ah, yes, the board game. So you'll collect this loot as you when you go and you loot the various different areas that have the shopping cart. And then we got the agenda. So it's kind of a hidden agenda. Like I said, this game is semi-cooperative. You're not all working together, but you're all actually working to overthrow the government that's the oppressive government that holds sway over this city. So you're not working against each other. It's just not a really traditional co-op as you're playing. If I remember correctly, there are some rules to make it truly co-op, but we never played it that way. We played it like the semi-co-op, where everybody's got their kind of agenda that they're trying to fulfill. So, for an example, here we've got the Vanguardist, Social, Win Together, Win Alone, Nihilist, and then so you'll have different. So, for an example, here it's Win Together. You must have occupations in all of your factions' districts and at least one public district to be able to pull off your hidden agenda. So we've got that. So we've got the various decks of cards. Let's put this in last. See, take another look at these manifestation cards I was talking about. Youth walkouts. Each liberating faction may form the following number of blocks in one district where they have an occupation. So 3, 4, 5, depending on the difficulty of the liberated district. And when it says 2 or 3 blocks, they mean blocks of your protesters. Guerrilla Gardens. There's a lot of stuff going on in this game. Like I said, it's not very difficult to learn how to play, and there's a lot of very intriguing aspects to this game, but they all fit pretty nicely together. Like I said, it has been a while since I played. It's probably been, gosh, I think the Kickstarter was, I think it wrapped up maybe in February, so I probably have not played this in about 9 months. All right, so we've got the cards, we got the dice, we've got all the different baggies for the various different tokens. We've got the fabric mat, and we've got the rules, and that is what we find when we take everything for Block by Block Second Edition, the Insurrection game, outside the box. As I pointed out before, Block by Block is going to be available on November 13th. I'm not positive how you're going to get your hands on it. I know pre-orders are closed at the Out of Order Games website. Check some of your favorite online retailers. You might want to check with your friendly local game store to see if they plan on carrying it. And keep your eyes peeled once I learn some more details about the second edition and where you can pick it up. If you didn't back it on Kickstarter, of course. Kickstarter backers are already receiving theirs or have received their copies. So anyway, but pretty cool game. As I mentioned, it's for 2 to 4 players. It's for ages 13 and up. That's about right as far as I remember it. 13, 14 would be what I would probably recommend. Plays in about 2 hours, and it does carry an MSRP of $60 when it arrives. All right, so that is it for today's show. Once again, on tomorrow's show, I will be reviewing The Captain is Dead Lockdown from my friends over at AEG. So as I like to point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel here at YouTube, please visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you so much for joining me on this Monday, November 5th. I'll be back tomorrow. And until then, as always, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.